Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Eric with SweetSpotDFS, and welcome to my DFS strategy video for the 2022 Players Championship. Now, hopefully you're able to watch the preview video I put out yesterday, as we covered all the pieces required to find the optimal lineup. If you haven't seen that video, I'll provide a link top right-hand corner. Go ahead, drill down on that, watch it, come back here, because you're going to have a better understanding of the players I'll be selecting in this video. Because finding the optimal lineup is half the battle, the other one is actually hitting it, and that's going to require the correct 6 golfers in our lineup to do so. Remember, at SweetSpotDFS, we want to aim small because we want to miss small. If we don't hit the optimal lineup, maybe we'll hit the GPP winner instead. So in this video, what we're going to do is look at the SweetSpot ranks, the Marquee tee time pairings, and then also our anchor buckets to really narrow our player pools to find the correct 6 players. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys of all the giveaways that I'm doing this week. I ran a giveaway yesterday. Same giveaway you see on the screen now. It's a subscriber giveaway. I'm not running these giveaways until Sunday night. So from yesterday's video, if you haven't seen it, go comment on it. Also be subscribed, but go comment on it. Get yourself a free entry into that giveaway so you can win $10 for the preview video. But I'm also running that for the strategy video today. So I'm giving away $20, 10 in yesterday's video, 10 in this video. This one is just going to be for all of the comments down below. So if you want a good chance of winning $10, that's all you got to do. Just comment down below, be subscribed to the channel, and I'm going to run this giveaway Sunday night. The second giveaway that I'm doing, oh, hold on. Let's go back to that subscriber giveaway. If you need a comment or if you need a topic to talk about in the comment section, give me your 3 favorite golfers you're going to build your lineups around this week. And if you're not comfortable with 3, I'm okay. Give me 2. That's fine. But that can be the topic. It doesn't have to be that. I'm just making it easy for you guys. The other giveaway that I'm doing is called a Prize Picks giveaway. If you sign up with Prize Picks using the promo code SweetSpot and put $20 in your account, you are automatically going to get refunded that $20. It's not going to come from Prize Picks, it'll come from me though. So I'm going to give you $20 just for signing up using that promo code SweetSpot and putting $20 in your account. Now, most of the industry, all they provide you guys is a deposit match up to $100. Guess what? I'm doing the same thing. I'm also giving you that deposit match as well. So not only you're getting that, but I'm going to give you $20 just to try it out. Again, it requires a deposit of at least $20 on your end. You can go all the way up to $100, and Prize Picks is going to match it and double your money. So you can either play Prize Picks for free and have $40 to your account, or you can just mitigate your costs by whatever amount you want to deposit. But I do have a link in the description below that'll get you straight to the Prize Picks sign up page with the promo code SweetSpot already populated. So it already does half of the work for you. Simple as that. The other giveaway that I'm doing, I'm giving away my optimizer. If you want the chance to use this, I have a video on everything that's involved with this optimizer. We're going to use this at the end of the video. So if you want to see me kind of showcase it, I'll do it there. I'm not going to do it right now. But if you want this optimizer, be subscribed to the channel. Basically follow everything the subscriber giveaway is. Be subscribed to the channel, comment down below, and then the only difference, you're going to have to email me and say you want this. Because unfortunately, I can't find your email addresses through your Google or through your YouTube accounts. Not most of you guys, I can't. Some of you that do link it and make that information public, I could do it that way. But how about this? You just reach out to me, sweetspotdfs@gmail.com, and I will send you the optimizer. Again, as long as you're subscribed and you comment down below, this can be yours. And always remember, I do have a cheat sheet that's available for all you guys. That is also in the description below. So we have 4, I'm giving you guys 4 things, up to 4 things. Subscriber giveaway, Prize Picks giveaway, the optimizer, and the cheat sheet. So like I said, a ton of giveaways. Let's get into this video once and for all. And we're gonna start with the SweetSpot ranks. So let me go ahead and just sort it by the rankings. Let me talk about how I came about these rankings. We'll talk about the rankings here shortly, but what's going into it is the official World Golf ranking. I'm looking at bent grass averages. We're looking at since 2013. We're also looking at the top 10 success rates, again, dating back to 2013. This should just say last year bent grass. I'm looking at 1 full year's worth of data on bent grass results. And why bent grass? I talked about it in the preview video. These greens are overseeded with POA and bent grass. That type of overseed mixture usually just plays like bent grass. So that's why I'm using it. But there you go. You have your information, POA and bent. You can do your own research with those 2 pieces of information. I am looking at course history. It does say TH for tournament history. Same thing. We're looking at Pete Dye averages. Again, dating back to 2013. Looking at top 10 success rates and just looking at last year's Pete Dye results. We had the American Express this year, and then basically from this tournament to the end of the year. Travelers was the last one. There's like 5 events in total. I've actually weighted this down by half. So the highest score you can get is 50 on any of these stats. At least I'm trying to get it as close to 50 as possible. So if you're seeing weird numbers between these grass stats as well to these ones, that's why. And then we're looking at birdie or better, bogey avoidance in these 2 stat categories. These are recent form stats in the gray areas here. We're looking at DraftKings points, their average over the last 7 weeks. We're also looking at recent form average over the last 7 weeks. That's your average finishing position, and then scoring average. The best score you can get here is 50 points. So anything closer to 50 is better. And then season-long stats. We got DK average. This is 1 full year worth of data, 1 calendar year. Same with scoring average, rounds under 70%. Made cut percentage. Oh man, I always forget to change this. It should say CM, cut made percentage. And then DK top 10s. That creates a score, and you can already see, I think I have the calculate. Yep. The calculation right here kind of just shows you. You can see the differences between first and second place, and then second and third place. Like, it's clear Rahm is the best in this field, followed by Morikawa, and then it kind of dives a little bit from there. A lot of people in the 1100 range. So basically ranks 5 almost all the way down to 20 are so close to each other that it might just be, not worth looking at the number just to look at the number. But anyways, here's your top 20. It goes all the way down to this golfer here, Paul Casey. You can't see Casey on the screen. It's just the limitations of Google Sheets, how far I zoom in and stuff like that. But anyways, your number 1 guy, Jon Rahm, then followed by Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay. So what I like to see, like, why look at these rankings? I want to see what stands out. If we sort by salaries, you can see 8,300 is the last salary you see on the screen. If I sort by these ranks, if anyone is under $8,300 that you can see on the screen, that would imply a good value. Likewise, if we see anybody who's less than 10K leapfrogging some of these guys who are in the 10K range, that's worth conversation as well, because Hovland is my 12th ranked guy in the field this week. He was one of my top ranked guys at the Arnold Palmer Invitational last week. So if there's a reason to jump off Hovland, it could be just my ranks. Maybe not that big of a deal. Or perhaps maybe you pivot from like a Victor Hovland to a Xander Schauffele or a Hideki Matsuyama because they're ranked better. One big one is Jordan Spieth. I know this is a track that we would anticipate Jordan Spieth not being very good at, primarily because of all the trouble that's around the venue. We know of Jordan's driver issues. He can't keep it on the planet. But I don't know. I did the ranks. These are non-biased ranks. It's not like I manipulated the data to get Jordan Spieth up there. But he just comes out as number 6 in my model. I'm warming up to the idea of Jordan Spieth being in my lineups. And at a flat 9K, I'm cool with that. I don't know how owned he's going to be. I also really don't care about ownership, but it's a good reason to play Jordan Spieth. He's above Rory in my ranks, as well as Victor Hovland, Matsuyama, Schauffele, Cameron Smith. But other ones that I'm looking at, Abraham Answer, all these guys in the 7K range, like those are good plays to build your lineups around. Number 20, again, Paul Casey. And then anyone that's above $8,300 that you see down here just isn't as good as a value based off of all the metrics that I look at, including Dustin Johnson, $9,800. He's my 34th ranked golfer. That's not good, obviously. He's an elite talent, so the fact that he is this low has a lot to do with his performance stats over the last year, over the last 7 weeks. All of that stuff is being implied, or applied, I should say, to my rankings. So just keep all of that in mind. My rankings by no means are perfect. We see that week in and week out, but last week it was pretty good. You know, my goal is to get 4 of the golfers from what you see on the screen to be in the optimal lineup. I want my top 20 to have 4 golfers inside or in the optimal lineup. So, that's what I like to look at with the rankings. Those rankings then go into my Marquee tee time pairings. So let me go filter out by color. And if you're unaware of what these mean, what the Marquee tee time pairings mean, these are basically the best. These are your best ranked golfers playing together, where I would anticipate them being together will make them play better. Essentially, that's probably the most elementary way of explaining it. I create a threshold, like I create a number. Anyone under that threshold is in the Marquee tee time pairing. Anyone over is not. And I like to have a little fun with this number. So I take the field number. How many golfers are in the field? 144 this week. I multiply that by 59%. Why 59? It's because it's a good number in golf. It's an arbitrary number. It really doesn't mean anything outside of it just being a fun number to use. But that gets me to a number of 84.98 or something like that. Well, let's round up. That's 85. So if these golfers' rankings equal under 85, we got our Marquee tee times. So all the golfers you see on the screen, there are 7 groups in total. I anticipate seeing at least 3 guys from these tee times being in the optimal lineup. When we see 7 or more, actually when we see 6 or more, we on average see at least 3 guys in the optimal lineup from here. Now, if you've been with me before, you also know we don't pair golfers up in the same group. It is highly unlikely 2 golfers from the same group will be in the optimal lineup. It's not impossible. I just want to be on the record for that. It's not impossible. 2 weeks ago, we had that happen. And last week, I almost got proved wrong once again because Victor Hovland finished second, and he was in a group with, I forget who the other guy was. That also, Tyrrell Hatton. I think he was in a group with Tyrrell Hatton. I don't remember, but either way, 2 guys finished second from that group. And these pairings are only Thursday, Friday, mind you. So it's not like they're playing together the entire time, but it's a good starting point. You can't win a tournament on Thursday or Friday, but you can lose it. So having a good head start, being in a good group that, you know, you can draft off of good play, and also just being in a good group with good energy helps you all the way through the tournament. I mean, if you're a competitive golfer, y'all know this too. I know being in the wrong group does not allow me to play to my best potential. So that's why I look at Marquee tee times. Again, I've also been keeping track of the success of the Marquee tee times. And I think I'm going to actually go back and look at all the numbers. The number of weeks that I've done this, I know goes back past the PGA Championship, but I think it was after the Open Championship where I started it. In those weeks, there have only been 2 weeks where we've seen 1 or less golfers from here in the optimal lineup. And I'll tell you what, it's never at a marquee event like this. It's always during, like, you know, your strength of field's around 200, 300. So I don't anticipate this failing this week. Most of the time we see at least 2. But like I said, I'm anticipating seeing at least 3 golfers from the screen be in the optimal lineup. And I've gone on too far about that, I understand. I just want to be as clear-cut as possible, because one of the biggest gripes I have in this industry is people giving out their quote-unquote rules of the week and not really providing any explanation behind it. So I want to be as clear as possible so it's not confusing. I'm not going to make any declaratives. I'm not going to make any definitive proclamations, anything like that. I just want you to know I'm projecting at least 3. So, and again, the rule is don't pair 2 guys up together. So don't go Louis and Adam Scott. And it's only based off of the odds that are likely going to have these guys in the optimal lineup together. And that's the other thing I should have mentioned with all of the things I was just talking about. Since the PGA Championship, there's only been 2 events now, including 2 weeks ago, where there have been golfers from the same group. So it just, the chances or the odds aren't there. It's just best to just avoid it. So don't pair 2 guys up together. So when you look at something like this, I mean, for you guys right now, pause the video, look at some of these golfers that you like, or go to the link in the description for the cheat sheet, because this is all there. I haven't updated the SS ranks over here for the colors, so you're not going to be able to filter that out just yet, but I'll do it right after this video, after I create it. So it should be updated by the time you're watching this. Go ahead and filter out by this dark color and then sort by the game number over here, and you're going to see all the marquee tee times. But I also have it included in the optimizer. All of your marquee groups are right here. Have them numbered according to their group number. So you can also get the optimizer and see what those groups are that way. Okay, I don't want to go on any further than this. We can talk about these golfers, but I'm just going to save it until we get into our anchor plays, because we're going to be able to track the marquee tee times by the coloring over here all the same. It's going to be super simple. As we look into other colors, I do have some honorable mentions. And last week we had a golfer from the honorable mention in the optimal lineup. I never really see more than 2 whenever I have 4 or more groups here. I'm not even gonna say I'm projecting at least 2. I think we can find 1, which makes me really like, you know, people like Matt Fitzpatrick. This will be an interesting group here, Simpson, Finau, Reed, because I mean Simpson and Reed we really haven't seen much of, but we also have Zalatoris, Hoffman, Varner III, don't really care there, and Justin Rose and Max Homa. Like, I like all of these guys. So maybe we'll see two golfers from here in the optimal lineup. I would also follow the same rules. Do not pair these guys up together. And I think I have 3 of these groups in the optimizer, because I only have 10 groups you can use currently. Yeah, Matt Fitzpatrick is there. So once you get that, just understand not everybody from the marquee tee time. Well, everyone from the marquee tee time's there, but not from the honorable mentions. Just 3 groups. I think I don't have Simpson, Finau, Reed in there, but I have the other ones. Okay, there's enough of that. Let's talk about our anchor buckets. Here, let me actually. All right, so let me hide some of this stuff so it's easier for you guys to see on your side. Again, this bucket system, the summary, if you want to see all of these columns here with all the information there, it is available in the cheat sheet. So you get the dream sheet that we were just looking at, and you also get the summary page as well. All right, anchor buckets. So what I like to do is I go into the minimum projections. I put a filter here, anything greater than 0.9, and then I go into max projections and I go anything greater than 2, and then bucket totals I have less than or equal to 25, but I'm going to open it up to 30 because I saw a couple that were at 26 and also at 27. So we open that up and we're going to see a few more buckets that are attached here. Now, why do I look at it this way? When my projections are 1 or more, and by the way, the bucket system has been 94% correct over the last 12 weeks. So we have success on our side when we look at these buckets. When the projections are 1 or greater, that's a good idea. We want to select at least 1 golfer from this bucket. And when this is 2 or greater, it just gives us even more confidence to at least select 1, if not 2, or if not 3. So all of that's in our mind. And if we make these buckets, if we choose the smallest buckets with these conditionals in there, chances are we're going to be able to make some good plays. So this is how we're going to find the golfers that we want to select to build our lineups around. So let's go ahead. Let's start with last year ones. So again, you can go to the cheat sheet. I'm just going to sort by filter. Let's get the highest guys up here so we can see the better golfers first. Come and filter out by last year and just look at ones. So our group, very small, 17 golfers in there. I have 18, so something must be filtered out. Actually, hold on. I know why it's filtered out. Because of the blanks? No? I don't know. I'd have to go look to see what would strive. Anyways, am I looking at the right one? Last year ones. Should be 18. Let me double check something really, really quick. Oh, I think I forgot to remove somebody that withdrew. All right, I'm not going to waste time, but I think that's what it is because it's looking at this page, and I don't talk about this page. I use the DK page, and this is updated. So, anyways, I have 17 golfers to look at. We want to select at least one, right? When we look at the summaries here, 1 to 3. So we want to look at least 1, maybe up to 3. I can tell you right now, we've never seen more than 2 inside the top 10, and we've never seen more than 1 as an optimal lineup. So we really just want to select one golfer, it looks like, from this bucket. And it starts with Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm, Justin Thomas, Cam Smith, Daniel Berger. These are all golfers in the Marquee Tee Times. Same goes with Sergio Garcia and Paul Casey. So if we wanted to select golfers just based off of the Marquee Tee Times, we can do it right here. I mean, it helps me like Rahm and Cam Smith even more. I'm also not hesitant in using Justin Thomas. I'm not really looking into Berger, but I want you all to know I create around 100 lineups a week. It's actually over 100 lineups a week. I set my ownership numbers similar to what you're going to see if you ask for the optimizer. These are my max and mins. I will change them according to how much I like a golfer, but I'd never really change them more than 5% because there's a reason these numbers are showing up for me. I use a calculation that provides me based off the buckets, just everything that I do with the SweetSpot process. It gives me the max exposures that I want. Now, I like some of these guys up here in the 10K range, but I'm going to change these ownerships a little bit. But no one's going to be owned more than 25%. And no one's going to be owned less than 10%. So it's going to be somewhere between 10 and 20. I have not yet updated this. I haven't even thought about it yet. I just want you guys to know that. Like, I don't like to make any declarative plays. I'm just giving you my favorites. Like, I really like Rahm. I'll probably boost his ownership up a little bit. Same with Cam Smith. I really like him. I do like Justin Thomas. And I don't have an issue with any of these guys. Like Taylor Gooch is going to be super popular. He's 24th in my model, $7,200. But when it comes to the bucket system, this is why I love the bucket system. Guess what, guys? The max is 3. Remember, we are rounding up with the max number. We're rounding down with the min. The reason I don't do it for you guys is just to show you the raw numbers, because I'm a visual person. I want to see the raw numbers. But just so you know, no more than 3, at least 1. And when you see that and you look at this bucket right here with the golfers in it, kind of changes your perspective a little bit. You know, like if you wanted to go all 6 golfers from here, not a good idea. Honestly, I will fight anyone tooth and nail. This isn't predicting this isn't absolute. This isn't definitive. These are just projections. The projections can be missed time or here and there. But like I said, 94% successful. And it's all based off of performance trends that have happened at this tournament dating back to 2013. So again, 1 to 3 golfers from this bucket. It helps me realize don't go overweight. with the golfers you see. Because limiting your player pool is actually more freeing when building your lineups than having a larger player pool. Just throwing that out there. All right, enough of that. Last week ones. So your top 20s from last year's tournament is the first bucket we looked at. Now we're looking at top 20 finishes from last week. So this one is a little bit larger. We have how many golfers in here? 25. Is that what this says? 26. So there's something weird happening with an extra one. Again, Jon Rahm is here. We just talked about him. Sung Jae's in there. So we're looking, your 1-1s from the last week bucket. These are all golfers we already talked about. Now, the more times you see a golfer in these buckets doesn't ensure that they're going to finish inside the top 10. It just boosts, it just increases the likelihood it happens. So like right away, really liking Jon Rahm, really liking Matt Fitzpatrick. Corey Connors is also in that bucket. So is Taylor Gooch. The last one we just talked about, you want to max 3. Well, I just highlighted 4 golfers. So we got to make our choices. We got to make our decisions. But, this bucket, we are projecting somewhere between 2 to 4 golfers. 2 to 4. Now, the 2 isn't super high, but it's still a likelihood we're going to see at least 2, especially when the projection's 4. Like the max projection's 4. So if we take what we learned in the last bucket, we want a max of 3. We have to make some decisions to eliminate some of these golfers that we just highlighted. Oh, Sung Jae is also another one. So there's 5 of them. Well, for me, I'm crossing off Sung Jae. I am probably crossing off Corey. And then it's just the 3 golfers you see on the screen. These are the only ones that I'm probably going to be considering when building my lineups. But really, if I was to take another one off, it's probably going to be Taylor Gooch. Just saying. I like Fitzpatrick and Jon Rahm way more than I like those 2. And why I did all this, it was to limit the last year ones that I had in my pool. So now, again, this bucket we're currently in, the last week ones, we select anywhere between 2 to 4. Now we did select 2. We can ignore the rest of these if we want, but we can move up to 4 if we want. That's a possibility. And again, we're looking for the optimal lineup. So we already have a high 10K guy. What's the likelihood if we go Jon Rahm that, we can do anything with any of the other high price guys that we see? Maybe we go down to someone like a Sam Burns, or maybe we don't. Maybe we go down to someone like Chris Kirk or Keegan Bradley. Like, these are all options. Maybe we find most of our 6K golfers down here that we want to build our lineups around. I mean, it's entirely up to you. I'm just giving you kind of the bucket rules that need to be applied when looking at this. So like, yeah, Jon Rahm, for me, Jon Rahm and Matt Fitzpatrick so far are what I'm aiming for. Now, the next bucket we want to look at, course history 2s. We want somewhere between 1 to 3 here. So if we do see some of these same golfers, we can still apply those rules. And I understand maybe this is becoming a headache for you guys. Like, okay, there's way too many rules already. Too many. I can't keep it all straight. That's where the optimizer comes into play, because I have all of those conditionals already plugged in here. This is going to think for you. And if you just like golfers so much, you can just lock them in and say, optimizer, find me the best golfer, or find me the best lineup with Jon Rahm in it. I know Jon Rahm's going to win this tournament. Find the other 5 golfers, and also follow the bucket rules. I love this optimizer. Anyways, there we go. Jon Rahm shows up again. Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas. We've already talked about these guys. Hideki Matsuyama's up there. So now we, again, if we're following that bucket logic to its fullest, if Jon Rahm were to be in the optimal lineup, he already covers 1 in the 3 buckets I've highlighted. So we may not need any more golfers, at least from the last year 1 bucket and the course history 2. Meaning, all the golfers you see on the screen now, you can just eliminate. Get rid of all of the rest of them. Some of them aren't even worth mentioning, worth even talking about. But, Rory, you got to make your decision about Rory. You got to make your decision about Justin Thomas. I like to build 100 lineups, all unique lineups, so I can have access to all these players. But if you're a single entry type of guy, in a way, I love what the bucket system can do for you guys. can make you really decide which plays you really want to do. So yeah, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. But this bucket here, we want somewhere between 1 to 3. So if it is Jon Rahm, I mean, you got 2 other selections you can go with. Maybe we take our words back about Corey Connors. You know, maybe we like Sergio really like a lot. Up to you guys though, honestly. So that's your course history 2s. There were 2 recent form buckets that we'll talk about, recent form 1s and recent form 2s. So, and each of them are 1 to 3, I think. Yeah, they're identical with their projections, 1 to 3. So we can start with recent form 1s. Not a lot of guys in this bucket, and look who we see: Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm, Jon Rahm, Jon Rahm. We also see Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas. So we've seen McIlroy and Thomas in 3 of the 4 buckets we've already talked about. We've seen Rahm in all 4 of them. Again, nothing's for certain. This is golf after all. But Jon Rahm being in all 4 buckets just gives him a better chance of success, in my opinion. And the buckets don't dictate success. I'm just there. They capture what has shown up inside the top 10 more often than not, and then it just puts the golfers that meet those bucket criterias. So that's why that's why Jon Rahm has the rankings he does, or the bucket numbers that he has. So it's likely we're going to see success here. And again, we want 1 to 3 of these guys. I really like Patrick Cantlay, but now I see Thomas, I see McIlroy, I see Morikawa. Hard for me just to be comfortable with this. We see Matt Fitzpatrick down here. So again, we need to make choices. We could go Matt Fitzpatrick. We could go Jon Rahm. We can't do anything more from really the last year 1s. So we can get rid of a Thomas. We can get rid of a Lowry. And then go from there if this is how we want to build our lineups. Or we can just say, okay, Jon Rahm, too expensive. Really like Collin Morikawa. And that will open up avenues for those other buckets, because Morikawa is just a 3-6. And you can choose more last year 1s or more last week 1s, because Matt Fitzpatrick only occupies 1 of them. So really liking Fitzpatrick or Rahm. I wish I still had Fitzpatrick in one of my 1 and dones, because I probably would use him. I'm in a 1 and done that allows you to pick 2 golfers at a time. So I probably would do like a Rahm, and I would probably do a Fitzpatrick. Going from there though, we're going to go to the next one. Let's take a look at recent form 2s and see who is here. This bucket's a little bit larger, so it's going to be really hard to determine which one to choose, like which golfers to choose. But we've already seen Matsuyama. We've already seen Cameron Smith. Sergio is also here. And Chris Kirk, I know we already talked about. This one's just kind of more of a mix. And again, we only want 1 to 3. So there's 30 golfers in this one, I'm guessing, based off of all of the 27. There are 27 golfers in this bucket. We only want to choose up to 3. Up to 3. So if you like Max Homa, Day, Scott, Im, Neiman, Ustays, and all of them, don't play them together. I am warning you right now, just don't do it. You're not going to build an optimal lineup with each of those golfers. Like these 6 golfers, don't build lineups with them. Just don't do it. Now, if you want to min cash, that's fine. Like, because this would probably be good for a cash lineup. But they're not going to be in the optimal lineup. And that's all that I'm focused on here. So any naysayers or critique guys out there, remember, I'm searching for the optimal lineup. I'm trying to hit the optimal lineup. We're not doing it with these 6 golfers, or these 6 golfers, or these 6 golfers together. They have to be together. Maybe 1 of them will be in the optimal lineup. Maybe 2 of them, and maybe 3, but that's as far as I'm going. Maybe 3. And that's why I love the bucket system, honestly. It just helps you realize, don't go overweight on some of these guys, because the performance trends just don't get there. Now, let's put it this way. Let's put it a different way. 94% correct, meaning there's a 6% chance one of these buckets or the bucket system as a whole. No, that's not how it goes. You would have to look at the raw numbers. Usually 33 out of 36 buckets are correct. 34 out of 36 are correct. Somewhere in there. So somewhere between 2 and 3 buckets might be wrong. This could be one of them. This could be one of them. A lot of good golfers in it, but I'm just going to stick to my guns. I'm just going to say 3 at most. That's it. The other anchor buckets are strokes gained stats. These aren't as normalized as the other stats, so I'm not even going to spend time talking about them. But basically what it implies, your number 1 strokes gain bucket is just all strokes gain stats are positive for a full year. Remember, I'm looking at a full calendar year dating back to last year's. I think it actually goes back to last year's Arnold Palmer because that is 1 full year. So it's looking at all the strokes gain stats of all these golfers. There are a total of 18 of them that have all positive strokes gain stats, and I'm only projecting 1 to 3 of those. We see up to, I mean, we've seen a minimum of 4 to 6 inside the top 10, but if we look at optimal lineups, we only see a max of 3, a minimum of 2. So if you want to go that route, why don't we just look at it? That's fine. We've already looked at all the other ones. We might as well look at this one. Looking at strokes gain 1 golfers, they're all the golfers here in dark green. This is how I have it all color coded. It's based off the strokes gain numbers. Again, Jon Rahm is up there. Remember, we only want 1 to 3, but you've seen 4 to 6 inside the top 10. So you could go that route, you know, and be just fine. Maybe you go down to Mito Pereira at $6,700 to fill in and whatever. Maybe you go past. Maybe this is another one of those buckets that has more golfers in it than my projections. But again, we're focused on optimal lineups. So it's possible that Mito Pereira still finished inside the top 10, but isn't in the optimal lineup. And that'd be okay. At $6,700, you're probably still going to win money if you do that. Because maybe your optimal lineup has Louis in it and it has Russell Henley, has these 4. I'm only telling you to play up to 3. Mito's not in the optimal lineup, but you can build a lineup with him. And he could finish inside the top 10. I mean, if he does finish inside the top 10, likely he's in the optimal lineup. He could finish inside the top 20 and you're still going to win money. So you can obviously disregard the bucket rules because there's a likelihood that some of these guys will still finish inside the top 10. They just might not be in the optimal lineup. And then the other bucket to talk about are strokes gained 2s. We want somewhere between 1 to 3 here, but probably err on the low side. I don't like seeing a low 1 and a low 2. Doesn't make me feel super confident, but you could go up to 3 if you really wanted to. You can see we've seen 0 in the optimal lineup and we've seen somewhere between 1. At least it's happened. I mean, the frequency rate is 100% because we've seen at least 1 of these golfers inside the top 10 for the data that we have on it, which I think is only 3 years worth, and a max of 4. So do with that as you want. But like, there's some notable names: Hovland, Dustin Johnson. Like, here's what I'd say too. If you like Hovland, don't pair him up with DJ. If you like DJ, don't pair him up with Hovland. Like, the chance of those 2 guys being the optimal lineup are going to be extremely small. But if you just want to mint cash, go for it. Seriously. Like, you have to remember what my goal is. It's to build the optimal, or it's to hit the optimal lineup by putting the right 6 golfers together. And I'm telling you, the likelihood of these guys being the optimal lineup are extremely low. So that's why I wouldn't pair them up together. Same goes with like a Neiman and a Horschel. I really like Fitzpatrick, so he's going to be my guy. I'm probably going to ignore the rest of these guys. Maybe I'll put, another one because I like Justin Rose. But yeah, 1 to 3. And I'm not sure if I want more than 2. So that's how I look at it. Those are your anchor buckets. Let's build some lineups. Like, I've kind of gone a little longer than I usually do, but I think I explained it pretty well. Okay, optimizer. I do have a video on how to use this, but if I'm trying to sell it to you guys, you have the optimizer that will build you lineups. There's build 9 at a time, 50 at a time, 90 at a time. In that video that I have created that I will send with you when I send the optimizer out, I highly recommend just starting with 9, and then once you get used to the optimizer, then you can go to 50 and 90. But I just like to hit run optimize and save. I like to look at all of my lineups every single time that it builds. So you can run optimize. There's that optimize page. You can also save your lineups onto this page. So if I hit save for the lineup I already built before creating this video, it's going to save right here. And why is this nice? This is in the same format of the file you get from DraftKings to import or to upload your lineups. So all you got to do from here is just copy and paste into that file. Voila. You can just import your lineup super easy. I also have a way, so let's run another lineup, and I'm going to save it just to show you another functionality of this optimizer. So when I save that, you can see total lineups changes to 2. Obviously, we see 2 here. And then if I go to the contest tab down here and I hit this randomize button, boom, the 2 lineups show up here. Now, it is up to you whether or not you want to fill in this information with your DraftKings contest that you've entered. I just keep entering contests and just put a dummy lineup in there. And then I will download that file and paste all the contests here. I sort by entry fee. Again, I explain this all in that video. So if you want the optimizer, go ahead. But what I love about this randomize button is, like focus on Colin Morikawa and Justin Thomas. The more times I hit this, the more it's going to randomize. Now it's not really showing Justin Thomas up top. There we go. It took a while for Justin Thomas to be the top guy, but imagine this with 100 lineups, 200 lineups. You're always going to get someone up top just a little bit different. Like your lineup here is going to be a little bit different. And why is that important to me? Well, I'm biased. I like certain lineups. I like certain players. I want there to be a little bit of chance. Like I like all the lineups I build, but there's just some that I like a little bit more. Usually what happens if I enter those all in my high entry fee contest, it usually revolves around 1 or 2 golfers. That golfer misses the cut and I make no money from those high entry fees. So I want to curb that from happening to me, and I do that in this contest page. You also will have the bucket summary here. You'll also get the dream sheet here. I will add, actually I'm using my copy of the optimizer, so I did not add this, but yours will have this in here. It'll also have the ranks highlighted by Marquee tee times. So you'll have all that. There's an ownership page here. This is how I calculate my ownerships, my minimum ownerships, my maximum, the median, the average. It's an easy way for me to not go super overweight on somebody or underweight on another. And then I got this awesome combinations tab, which will keep track of how often a golfer's combined with another guy. I actually have 2 columns here that are hidden. It will tell you who your lineup is most commonly matched with as you're building your lineups. So that's my way of selling it to you. Let's actually build some lineups. I'm sorry that took a little long. I just wanted you to see everything. You do actually have these minimum conditionals down here. You go ahead and change it to whatever you want. At SweetSpotDFS, 49,000 and above is what I'm looking for. I don't want to ever leave more than $1,000 on the table. The closer you get to 50, the least amount of times that your lineup, actually I should say this, the least amount of combinations you can create, which is easy. That again frees you up to building lineups. So your most optimized, actually let me delete the lineups. It's a nice little function there as well. Running this optimizer with all of the bucket conditionals we just talked about in the preview video, I should say, but also your anchor buckets that I just talked about are also all applied to these conditionals. Let me open up the salaries. I think only the 7K, we want at least one of those. So with everything involved, running the optimizer is going to spit us out a lineup, and this is going to be the most optimal lineup based off of my metric. So we got Rahm number 1. We've already talked a ton about Rahm, so I have no issue here. Scheffler, Oosthuizen, Casey, Rose, KH Lee. Now, another wonderful thing about this optimizer is it only builds unique lineups. So if I hit this again, KH Lee is going to be crossed off the list. We'll see the next optimal, which I like even more. This is a lineup I like way more than the one that just showed up. So Rahm, Scheffler, Fitzpatrick, Answer, Rose, Keegan Bradley. Like I like that a lot. So that would be a Rahm lineup. What if we don't want Rahm? You know, we can lock him out. We don't have to have the optimizer choose him at all. Then it goes to Colin Morikawa, Scheffler, Scott, Casey, Rose, Gooch. That's also another really good lineup. I'm not going to build more lineups than that. I know it's kind of frowned upon in the industry. I also don't really think you're going to gain much. I think what you want to do is get your hands on this optimizer, build it out the way you want it to be built. I mean, we talked about all the anchor plays that we want to build our lineups around. Obviously, we just saw a ROM lineup with a Fitzpatrick lineup. That's what I'm looking for. I want something like that. You could easily go in here, change it to Hideki Matsuyama. We saw him a bunch in all of that, in all of the anchor buckets and stuff like that. Look at that. John Rahm is there and Fitzpatrick. Wow. Really like this lineup as well. So yeah, I don't know. I did really well last week, and it was the first time I actually was able to utilize the group conditionals. Those are all right here. Yeah, like I said, I really love this thing. I love the optimizer. I have yet to optimize the way to use the optimizer, but that's all human error. That's not going to be based off of this. So anyways, if you want this optimizer, again, be subscribed to the channel. Comment down below who are the 2 golfers or 3 golfers you're going to build your lineups around this week. You're going to get, and then actually reach out to me at SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. I will send you that optimizer and those same conditionals to win $10. Be subscribed, comment down below. You'll get a free entry into this giveaway that I'm running Sunday night. Somebody is going to win $10. We're no longer looking at the goals or the sub goal in order to run this. It's been what, 4 weeks? Maybe that's what I'll just do as rules going forward. If in 4 weeks we don't reach the goal, we'll just run this. And actually maybe I'll make it like diminishing every single week. Maybe we'll start with a high total of like $25, and then we'll go down to 20, 15, 10, 5, and then, or maybe we'll just get down to 10, and then that's when I'll run it. But anyways, be subscribed and comment to get yourself a free entry. And of course, Prize Picks. You want to play for free, sign up using the promo code SweetSpot, put $20 in your account, and then I will refund your $20. You'll then get $40 total because Prize Picks will match your deposit. So you'll have $40 on Prize Picks, and it won't cost you a thing other than your sign up information. And of course, it all depends on what state you're in. Some states don't allow this. So if you are in a state that does, link is in the description below. And of course, the cheat sheet that, you know, if you just want to look at the data, the information, and just build however you want to build, maybe use different sites to do it, that's totally fine. There is a cheat sheet in the description below, or a link to it, I should say, that is also available to you guys. I don't have anything else. Let's win a ton of money this week. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.